Hi, everybody. Let's get started. Today is April 10th. Eid Mubarak to anybody celebrating today. I hope you're having a great day. The AUM is at 383 million. The elephant MCAP is at 227.9 million. The Treasury is at 44.3 million. The trunk supply is at 108.6 million, and we are staked at 44.97 million. Ed, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Josie. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. We had a little earthquake last week.
I heard.
Since we last spoke.
Crazy.
So that was an adventure.
I bet. I did. Was it crazy with you, or did you just heard about it, or you've actually felt it?
No, I felt it. I was on a Zoom call. So it's actually it's recorded, my reaction to
Oh,
it.
that's funny.
So,
that is funny.
Yeah.
Well, hope nobody got hurt or anything like that, and it was just,
no. It was all good. Just hoping the ground stays still this week.
I know, that's why I'm never going to live in California. I know this is a little off base with that, but did you hear the story that was the guy who's getting the surgery done during the earthquake? He was getting a vasectomy. So the doctor actually said, "Look, I think that's an earthquake," and he goes, "We got to stop." So it was literally. Can you imagine? Just that's why I'm never moving to California for sure.
It's a particularly delicate procedure.
Yeah,
having in the first place, like during an earthquake.
I'm thinking of all the other things at a hospital that probably could have been going on. Just in general, all the things you could be doing that are like very sensitive with whatever your hands or anything, and have to all of a sudden that happens. You're like, what the heck is going on? So it's kind of weird. But what did you say when you started the call? You said something about a holiday. Did I miss that?
Oh, yeah, it's today is the Eid, the end of Ramadan.
Oh, okay. So. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So thank you for all of those stats in the beginning. I'm going to add a couple as well. What's up, everybody? Your spaces weekly here on X that we do every single Wednesday, 11 o'clock New York time, April 10th, 2024. It is recorded, so you can listen back to it, have your friends listen to it. So thank you guys for hanging out. Those that are with us today, I don't see BT on yet, but fingers crossed that he will be joining us to add some of the numbers out there. Bitcoin around 67K. I had a little pump a couple days ago where it was like over 72, but it just went back to where it was pretty much the same spot last week, just around the 67,000 range. BNB pretty much the same, around 580-ish most of the week. Getting an hour numbers, trunk is at 55 cents, which is definitely up from last week. I just don't know the exact number. Trumpet moving up as well. It's now at 2.711. Burned trunk, we're at 2.79 million. So that's pretty much still, we're still over 20,000 a day that we are burning of trunk. So that thing just keeps going and going. And with everything that BT has coming up, I expect to see those numbers go up pretty good too. You're almost at 50.8 for our graveyard, which is a little slow, but it's okay. Soon we'll be looking at that rebalance of the graveyard when it gets to 51%. I don't know how long that's going to take based on the numbers, but looking forward to see what happens with all the DCA and when that happens. Futures, we did add another 20 new people or new accounts to new wallets to futures. Now, yeah, it's not crazy. It's not like 100 or 200, but it's something. So not bad, but it's not great. So just keep working at it, keep pushing that, keep bringing those people in, the each one teach one, and just keep at it with futures out there. And so, I don't know. It's just this week seems kind of blah to me. I don't know about you guys, but this seems like a lot of things just being all crabby again. So I was just thinking about, when things are doing that, what do you do? Like, is there something that you can do? Is there something you should just sit back and should I wait? Should I DCA? What should I do during these times? There's just something I can go out. Maybe there's something maybe I can go out and catch a quick buck real quick. And you're trying to decide what should you do. And who do you listen to when things are going crabby? Because you have all these content creators that are out there. And someone asked me, which content creators do I listen to? And when things are going crabby, usually you see all these content creators disappear because they only want to get online when something's pumping or when something's dropping. because they want to bitch about something or they just want to praise something. So I told my friend, I'm like, look, I follow a lot less people than I used to when I first started getting into crypto, because I used to follow a bunch, and I found out most of them really don't know much about the tokens they post about. It literally is just random gossip. They try to pull some charts up. They try to use some scientific method to validate the reasons why this will do this and this will do that, and then it never happens. Or they're posting about rumors, and they have no knowledge of the contracts whatsoever. And I just see content creators with a lot of failed projects that they praised, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to follow you much anymore. So I try to stick to the ones that seem to have some kind of knowledge, not the ones that seem to have the same kind of knowledge that I have or the amount of knowledge. Someone who's puts their stuff together properly seems like they know quite a bit more of a project than most people do. And if a content creator is definitely posting stuff during like crabby times and it's some serious info and a serious knowledge, those are the people I like to follow, because those are the ones you know you can probably listen to a little bit more, even though I know none of them are pretty much have anything to do with being a financial advisor. So it's just hard out there to follow certain people, but after a while you start figuring out who the easiest people are to follow, and you can trust them a little bit more and stuff like that. So um, you know, you just got to be careful out there and be smart who you're listening to. Remember, it is your money. You're letting somebody else advise you on what they think is going to happen, and you're making some decisions based on some stranger that you've never met before, that probably doesn't have as much knowledge as you think, trying to give you some advice on what you should do with your money. So be smart when you're out there, especially when it's crabby, you know. But when it is, you know, what are your positions? Now you have to start thinking for yourself, not the content creators. When times are doing this, you know, March was March Madness. It's like talking basketball. You saw these memes going a little crazy before, and it's not as much hype going on right now as it did earlier. But you're starting to look at things and see how things are settling a little bit, and then you're like, okay, you have to think, why did you get in those positions you were in the first place? Now, if your short positions, they mean you probably jumped in a meme, and you probably are looking for a quick return, and maybe it already pumped, maybe it pumped a lot in March, and you did well, or maybe you didn't even catch as much as you wanted. That's fine. Don't be afraid to get back out of those memes. Don't try to squeeze every penny out of a meme, because that could turn your green into red with one quick sell from a whale that's holding more tokens than you, and you don't even know who they are. So, you know, look for another or a way to get your long-term play back. Take those shorts, and if you want to go play them again, but what are you going to do with the money while you're waiting? Put them back in your long-term play until you do go find something. Or maybe you purposely went to grab some quick money to grow your strength in your long-term play. Just don't try to squeeze every single penny out of that, because that could cost you. You know, speaking of your long-term play and your position, most likely EM, remember, it is still your long play, and we are still your bank. So when I said earlier, knowing why you got in your positions, that's still your play. A green or a red or a 0 day doesn't change that. But you can look at your funds, see what you're doing right now. Okay, what should I do? Should I build my bags during a crabby week or on a long play? Totally in your favor. Tiny DCAs can grow to big paydays. And when you have a project like EM or whatever you are in, that has upcoming moves to be made to strengthen its ecosystem, that can lead to like a multiplying effect to your value. So look at your funds. If you can make a move, make it. You should never have to ask yourself, should I or should I not put some more money in this? Or if you do, that means you either don't trust the project or you don't know enough about the project. So those answers should be coming to you really quick. It should be yes or no, whether you want to put money into the project that you're in right now. And you definitely need to ever ask that with EM. Never, ever need to ask that. We are proven. We are trusted. You got BT. You got the herd. You guys know right now that's always a yes. Should I put more money in EM? Some other project, you might still be a yes or no, but definitely EM, it's totally a yes. I want to bring up the new wallet contest. Don't forget, NFT. I shouted over $1,000 worth NFT, $10 new wallet. That's pretty simple right there. We've got a handful to start the week. I know we still got a week to, a few days to go in the week before we get the winner. And I think you guys are doing pretty well at it. I don't know how many of you have maybe won that are listening right now, but congrats if you did. Hope you're enjoying that NFT and you staked it. But look, whether it's a friend, a coworker, somebody who drinks alcohol, somebody who buys that daily coffee from somewhere, somebody who buys a lottery ticket, that is the perfect way to just go up to them and say, look, how about skipping that coffee, that beer, that lottery ticket just once or twice this whole month? I just want $10 from you. Just give me $10. Let me get you your first crypto. I'm going to put you in elephant money. It's one of the easiest ways to break the ice with somebody without having to teach them everything about it. Talk to them about their habit and your habit. Your habit is EM. Their habit may be, buying a Dunkin' Donuts coffee every single day. $10. That's all you want from them. And I go as far as, look, give me $10. A year from now, if you didn't make any money, I'll give you your $10 back. April 10th, 2025. If you have not made money with that $10, I'll give you your money back. Give them their money, but I think they're going to end up making money. And then they could actually see a little bit about elephant as you're teaching them. I'm sure they're going to keep looking every couple of days, every month, and be like, oh, you know what? Actually, this is pretty cool. Teach me a little bit more. Just a simple idea I was thinking about that you guys could each one teach one out there to get more people into our ecosystem and have a good time. That's about all I got for today, man. Don't forget, protect your funds. Come on, guys, protect your funds. Stop, look, and read before you press that button. Do never click away, man. Too many people are out there trying to get you, especially in our chat room. They're going to look to DM you as soon as you ask a question, especially if you bring somebody new into the ecosystem. I hope you're telling them right then and there, hey, I want you to join Telegram. But the first thing you need to know is as soon as you ask a question, somebody's going to send you a direct message. And it's going to be a scammer. Relay that to them. Make sure they know that. That's the first thing they should know about when they come into our chat room, is that any question you ask that you're new, somebody's going to try to come at you. So protect your funds at all costs. Take an extra second to look and make sure you're doing things properly so you don't mess up. And that's about it. I see Shankar is out there. I got you on, man. If you wanted to jump in and say anything, once it connects, you should be good. There you are, Shankar. How you doing out there, man?
Doing fantastic. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's a nice day here in Florida, so I'm doing really awesome.
Good. Well, for those of you who don't know me yet, I am one of the lucky people who definitely have all their life's expenses covered by futures, and I have to wake up every morning and pinch myself, and that's really cool. And the reason I talk about it a lot more, and I have become a lot more vocal and visible about it on my personal social media, is because on some level I believe that people need to see so that they can believe, right? So I've just returned from a trip to Amsterdam, and while there I did all of these activities, and people are wondering, how is that possible? And I just tell them when they ask, well, it is partly because it is a sum of a lot of things, of making good choices in life, but one of the really good choices I made recently was elephant money. And then I point them to the content that so many creators put out there, including myself. And, it's funny how you talked about how you get someone into elephant by telling them, use your $10 to maybe invest. What I've been doing when I go and purchase something, no matter where I are, where I am, no, when I pay with it, I use my virtual credit card that is funded 100% by futures proceeds. And when the store is not too busy, I tell the sales clerk, do you know that I just paid this with crypto? And sometimes they get curious, and then I just point them to a resource. I ask them, do you want to know how? And then I point them to a resource. And last time there was a customer behind me waiting. He was also interested. Um, I feel, I don't know about everyone else in the room, but sometimes we are just trained not to talk about money, and we kind of feel bad about it, and we're very timid around that topic. And that's really a big problem, because how are we ever supposed to understand, manage, and invest if we can't talk about it? So, even myself, as someone who has a very healthy relationship to wealth, investing, and business, I noticed that, in public, talking about elephant money was something I needed to learn. But I'm pushing myself because each one teach one is, at the end of the day, a movement where we're making cash flow available to people who would otherwise not have access to it. That is the simplicity of the project. And I have witnessed and observed people that I brought into the project that, they can learn it. It's not rocket science. You can, there's a lot of tutorials out there, or if you want to, what I do is I set up a Zoom call. I help them with their, get started. And it's beautiful to observe that. And that, at the end of the day, as I mentioned so often, that in combination with the community that does this for the right reasons, that's what's going to make this project live on for a very, very long time. And I think, beyond our lifetimes, which is really where the power is in this decentralized finance project, where we can create wealth, generational wealth.
I really appreciate you telling us that story about where you were in the store using your card there, because that is like one of the coolest ways that I've heard so far of telling people about crypto. Because a lot of people try to sell the try to overdo it. Hey man, hey, get in this thing, man, just put some money in, it's gonna 100x, I promise you. And they're like, oh Jesus, this is some guy trying to do that. But to actually go to somebody and say, listen, guess what, I just paid with this. You didn't tell them anything crazy, you just said, look, and that was like an awesome first step to teach somebody.
Absolutely. And I'm going to do that on a larger scale too, where I also talk about more expensive purchases, because those I want those people in our community as well. And one thing I noticed is when I speak, and that's kind of maybe important for everyone to also understand who tries to share this. I go to some of my higher ticket clients in my businesses and I say, hey, listen, the first question is, are you open to crypto? If it's a no, then I don't even continue, because I'm not on a journey to convince anyone of anything that they don't want to hear about. But usually the answer is, yes, but I don't understand enough about it. Now I leverage my years worth of business relationship where they trust me with their businesses and with services, and they have an open mind. And I say, well, if you have 10 to 15 minutes, I'm happy to tell you about a project that I'm involved. And what I do is I use their language. So I am very intentionally using words such as crypto bank, uh, immediate annuity, all of those technical terms that that describe what this is, but BankTel has replicated it in the virtual world. That's how I say it. And then people get it. We have to be very careful as fans of crypto and DeFi to not constantly use terminology that is scaring people away or confusing them. And then once I am past that, then a lot of people in my circles are who think like business people and investors. They just look, okay, you told me about this. I trust you. We've done business in the past. You've never like gotten me into trouble. This is my risk assessment, and I'm allocating a certain amount of my budget to try this. And then, time speaks volumes. I mean, I remember when I started back in October, I tried with $200, and everybody should try ease in slowly and then make their own experiences and belief.
And is that when you started futures or when you bought your first elephant?
I started with futures, so that was back in October last year. In October, that's when I deposited my first $200 into futures.
And I don't need to know like your exact amount or anything like that, but what's your strategy that you've been doing? Like, have you been doing like just keep depositing? Have you been doing like, hey, I want to do it every 21 days, or what's been your strategy that you've been helpful with your position?
Well, I think I'm an outlier, so I wouldn't think that my strategy. But at the beginning, I followed a 21-day, 7-day strategy. But nowadays I compound daily.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I compound. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I let it grow, and then I take 3 days gains out on Sunday, and then I'm in such a lucky situation that the money that I need to, so the $200 that I need to compound daily, those come from other crypto projects. So it's basically life. Life is true financial freedom, true financial independence. This is something that is possible with this in this world. But again, I think I'm an outlier. So not for you all here in the audience, not to say that you need to do that, but it's also a matter of patience, because if you go and use those calculator sheets that we have available, I mean, if you because a lot of people ask me, well, what is possible with $200 monthly, right? Well, if you have 3 or 4 years time and patience, then you can build yourself up a nice nest egg. You can get to an account balance. I think it's around $50,000. Just by depositing $200 monthly. And that is for a lot of people. I mean, that is incredibly life changing, because then they know, okay, in 3, 4, 5 years, I'm in a position to have some funds to make a down payment for my first loan for the first house we have ever owned. And that's just very, very powerful, and it is all done using the system correctly as intended, where you have a healthy flow of funds that gets distributed to those members, to those herd members who need it, when they need it. It's just a really beautiful thing, and again, we need to continue teaching and sharing this message, because we're a community bank, and the community bank needs to have customers, and that's all.
And I gotta tell you, I definitely have $200. I'm looking. Hey, do I have $200 to spend a month on this? I mean, I do it more than that. I do it every 2 weeks, but I look and go, do I really have that money? And then I look at some of the expenditures that I've had over the past month, just random places I go out to, whether it's out to dinner or out to happy hour, just random things. I go, you know what? I spend way more than this a month on things that I could cut back on. And so I have done that. I cut back on a couple bills that I have, like a couple subscriptions to some streaming service. I'm like, you know what? A few bucks here, a few bucks here. Guess what? Now I have an extra 200 to spend a month on this, and I've been doing that since then. And I'm like, I feel a little more comfortable now knowing that, hey, I'm doing it this way, and it wasn't that bad of a deal. It wasn't that hard to do, to cut back on a couple of things for those that are just trying to find 200 that don't always have it no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think when I talk to someone who really needs to make a coordinated effort to have that $200 every month, I can understand, and we all should understand, they're going to be very, very interested and worried about, is this never going to go anywhere? Because they cannot lose that. They don't want to lose that money. They cannot lose that money. I mean, I always tell people, losing, it's just, if I lose $1,000, maybe something and a different impact to my life than if that happened to you. And that is why, but this is a safe project, as safe as it can get in the decentralized realm, and it's very important to also keep understanding and talking about that and make people feel safe, and that's why it's important that as we get more advanced in the technical on the technical level, we need to understand how does this technology work, and how is that money safe, because that's obviously also important for people who need to really make a very coordinated effort to afford those $200. But I have that trust, and I understand why, and that is why it goes back to how I started this conversation. If you cannot be visible and vocal about something, how can you expect anyone to trust in what you're doing? So you need to live by example. That's very important.
Yeah, you could tell people, you could talk to them till they're blue in the face, but sometimes if you can show them an example, you can show somebody your futures account, that some of your clients, you could go up to the store and show them that the card you use to make a purchase, them actually seeing something in action probably helps them a lot more than you just trying to tell them a bunch of stuff, trying to teach them. But when you actually see it, it's almost like, it's right in your hand at all times. You could see it and you believe it then, instead of just hearing a story about it. When you can see it actually work, it probably helps a long way compared to other ways people try to show things.
Yeah, it's everybody's personal choice how transparent they are, but I am very liberal in that way. I take out my phone and I show it, and people see a balance that they have never seen in their own accounts, and they're like, okay, this guy is serious about it, and this works for him.
And you've established a rapport with your clients, so they know they can trust you a little more than a stranger coming up to them trying to explain some things to them. So that helps as well. What have you given them for advice when things are like, when they see things on TV or on the internet? Oh my God, Bitcoin just dropped $20,000. Or when they see that, and then they start seeing maybe elephant making some dips or not going anywhere at all, what do you give them for advice to make them feel better?
Yeah, I mean, if I have time, I take it as an opportunity to explain why and how this works, because what bank teller did is he built up, with his understanding of finance and decentralized finance and crypto, he built up a system where, especially with futures, you are relatively shielded to these natural fluctuations. So I use it as an opportunity to explain why it works, if I have the time, But again, I'm very careful not to I don't want anyone to have the feeling that I try to convince them of something that shouldn't be it. You shouldn't be on a mission to convince someone to go into something that they don't want to do. It's because bank teller keeps telling us as the herd too, right? You all make that decision to accept the contract and make your deposits. So it's very important that people are accountable to the decisions they make. So yeah, I think it's an opportunity to always explain. And And I'm still learning. I mean, I'm learning every day about this, and some people do a great job in. Chris Farrell, he has a sustainability course where you really dive into the inner workings of everything, and it's material that you can't watch often enough, because at that level it's fairly complex, and it just makes, it gives you it shows you how brilliant uh, BT's mind is, and how truly he understands all of that, which we are all very fortunate to have that opportunity to be exposed to that.
Yeah, there's been a few times where BT has put something out, and I either had to listen to it a couple of times to get it, or somebody will put a video out explaining it a lot better, or in something that I understand, not a lot better, but just in more terms that I relate to more than some of the knowledge BT has. I just goes over my head sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in this world, I often have to listen to it 3 or 4 times and then sleep over it, maybe also by explaining it to someone else, as we know, that helps internalize and understand it yourself. But that's not that's not the level of understanding everybody needs to have, of course. But as a major advocate of the project, which I strive to be, I definitely know that I need to understand, because that's ultimately one of the top three questions is, well, how does the bank make its money, and why is it not a Ponzi scheme? And you need to know your stuff to react to that.
That was literally going to be my next question to you. I was just going to ask you, what are your most popular questions that you've had to answer for new clients?
It's really, the number one is it safe? And number two is, well, I don't understand how the bank makes its money. Those two.
And I feel like some people that are the people I've asked that are in some of their 401ks from through their work, that they don't really, they sign up when they start their job, and they just pick an angle to go at. They go, strong or heavy or just light. They're not aggressive or less aggressive. And then I've asked people, so do you know anything about the companies you have in your 401k? And they go, no, I don't know anything about it. Yeah. So it's amazing. They don't know anything about that, but they don't mind their money being put in something like that they have nothing about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we trust the traditional banks almost blindly, and we've all seen recently or in recent years that is not necessarily warranted. Now, of course, we have the FDIC who insures the money to a certain degree, but you have to ask yourself, why is that blind trust there for those the traditional institutions? Well, it's history and legacy and regulations and all of that, but that's also the opposite in some way of what this movement stands for, which is freedom and decentralization. So you always kind of got to know, make up your mind and know what you really want and what you want to stand for. And then you don't have to be black and white either. Who says you have to be it's not like you can't embrace both worlds, which is what I think I would recommend to most people. At least that's what I do in my own situation. I see tools, and I see situations, and I see risk management, and I apply everything to the best of my knowledge, and see that I have a balanced situation where it's all inclusive.
Yeah, I understand that completely. And I have nothing wrong with, hey, you want to stay in some of the things, your regular stocks or your 401k, stay in that. How do you feel about, most people take a certain percentage out of their check and it automatically goes to that. Nothing wrong with, hey, can we cut that down just a few bucks and maybe take a few bucks of that out and toss it in the crypto and test it out a little bit. You can stay in that thing you think you feel safe in, which is your investments through your work or maybe something on the side. But how about just taking a small amount of that and instead of putting that out of your check into that, try crypto for a little bit and give it a little test and see, and maybe you'll get a little more relaxed to it and understand it a little bit more. Maybe you'll learn it a little bit more to where you feel more comfortable putting a little bit more money in at a time. And then eventually, you know what? I'm actually doing a little bit better than what my work was offering me or my financial investment banker guy was offering me. And maybe I do want to do a little bit more aggressive towards crypto instead of the basic thing that I've been doing all my whole life.
Yeah. Again, it is about letting time also give you the confidence to make this work for you. I mean, I definitely last year in October I would not have deployed the resources I am today, and it's really interesting what becomes the normal to you. And I notice that often in business when I travel or when I interact with different people. It's just like a very, very, what is normal to you is a very, very subjective thing, of course, and it depends on what you are willing to expose yourself to. And the beautiful thing about crypto and decentralized finance is that we are in this exotic world and bubble that most people don't really understand. Even very educated people in finance and similar industries have very, very little understanding. And we are pioneers, and it's a privilege to be a pioneer. And I'm personally convinced that in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, this is decentralized finance and crypto is just very common knowledge and very normal. And I mean, you can kind of see it when you talk to younger generations. When I'm at the gym and I listen to younger dudes who just left, I don't know, high school maybe, and they have their meme coins and they have their crypto wallets. To them that is something that is certainly a lot more normalized than it may be to us, and that's cool.
I do see down the road that crypto will be just much more, mainstream, and there'll be much easy ways for people to learn and understand, and there'll be generation that's like just diehard crypto out of all the things they've had from their parents and grandparents that were totally different.
Yeah, and I think I envision a situation where once people start using it without even realizing that they are, then it's really mainstream. And I think that will happen because ultimately I don't think that the traditional financial institutions have a choice to avoid it, because it's going to be so competitive and there's going to be so many advantages that they can not turn a blind eye on it unless because it will put them at risk of going out of business.
I'm hoping that, just eventually we just turn to digital money. I know China uses a lot of digital money and not the actual piece of paper of a bill in your actual hand. And that's kind of like a little bit of a stepping stone, but it's not exactly the perfect way to get everything into crypto. But it's a start. When you have the digital money, at least it's a way. It's just a way. It's just a way to teach people just a tiny bit about how to get in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shankar, man, thank you for jumping in today, man, because I was hoping BT was on and Hugh didn't, so at least I had somebody to talk to today, and I wasn't in here by myself.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, I had no idea it would, but at this point, I'm just so. I mean, it's literally part of my life every day, and I'm happy to be here and speak. And I love that we have the community, and I truly believe that the community and combined with each one teach one it's gonna make us stay on that very, very prosperous path.
Yeah, and when someone like you that jumps on to these weekly things, it helps a lot. I mean, I know we all love hearing from BT, but it's nice when you hear from other community members of the herd of what their stories, their progress, how they're doing things, how they're each one teaching one, because we want different versions of what everybody is doing to get people into crypto or help people find out about us. And so when we hear from all different members, all different ways from all around the world, it makes things a lot better. And just the thing you said when you first came on about you went up to somebody and paid for something with a card. In my head, it wasn't even until you said it. I'm like, oh my goodness, that it is an awesome way. And that's just a way that I need to do. And I didn't even think about it. And sometimes you know it, but you don't think about it. It's in the back of your mind, and you just put that light bulb on in my head going, that is an easy way to each one teach one. So just something like that. You never know what somebody can come up with or somebody's ideas on how they're doing things. And that's why we love when people just chime in whenever they can and tell us everything they're learning and they're doing, and it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely right. And very quickly, when I was in Amsterdam, I met up with. I used to be a law enforcement officer, and that was in Luxembourg, tiny little country landlocked by Germany, France, and Belgium. So anyway, my former police unit happened to be in Amsterdam, and we ran into each other. And of course, I'm the guy who immigrated to the US and became successful, and they are like, well, what are you doing? And I told them about Elephant, and 5 out of the 10 people I met, I believe, have their account set up now. So it's just moments of where you just combine life with sharing what you're up to.
Were they already in crypto, or there was going to be a first crack?
They were not in crypto at all, and there's in non-English speaking countries, they lag behind sometimes because there's less information, even less information out there, right? Less influencers that talk about stuff. And I told them, well, there's videos about it here and there, and they said, well, okay, listen. First, understanding crypto and the technology is a hurdle, but then English as a second language, that's another hurdle on top of it. So how do you want us to understand this, right? So I said, that's a good point. So maybe I speak several languages. I'm fluent in Luxembourgish, German, French, and English. So maybe I'll do it. Well, I actually told them I'll do it in German. I'll do a recording in German because Luxembourgers understand German, and then we can cover Germany and Luxembourg. So it's very important. Though I know there's some community members that do translations, and that is very, very important for the project as well.
So anybody hearing that right now, if anybody speaks another language that wants to offer some help to put some of our content in other languages, especially audio, that would be really, really helpful because, like you said, some countries, they just don't have the content out there in their language. And there's a lot of money in all these countries.
Oh, absolutely.
People, they want to get into, they just don't know how, and they don't know which way to go. And they're really interested. And they got to find people they can trust. And obviously putting it in their native language would help them more than them trying to find other ways to translate it on their own.
Yeah, that was a good point they made. I mean, even though they do understand English, it's just you don't necessarily want to understand learn about a difficult or new concept in not your native language,
Especially when has to do with your personal money.
Yeah.
You worked hard at. It's not learn how to play a game or something like that. This is serious.
Yeah.
So, so before I do want to give away the NFT before it cuts us off. Vaughn Bowles you are the NFT winner. If you can make some kind of emoji or something on your account, then you can contact me and we'll get you your NFT. Vaughn Bowles. I thought that was the coolest name I found on here so far. So I was like, all right. So Vaughn, I'll give you like 30 seconds to do some little emoji or wave or whatever it is, and then if not, I'll go to the next person that's on right now. Thank you, man. Thank you. There you are. I see you. I don't know if you're on Telegram, Vaughn, but hit me up if you are and send me your info. If not, you can send me a message on here if you're not on there. Anybody else want to jump in with Shankar and myself? We still got a few minutes if anybody else wants to request to speak, and myself or Josie will let you in. Probably kick it out here in like 10 minutes. I don't know if I'll go to the full hour. Otherwise, it kicks us off on its own. So I see BT is not joining us today. So sorry, guys, if you were on here waiting to hear some alpha or some news or anything about V10. I do not have any info for you guys. Blackberry guy, thank you for coming on. Native, one of our admin, he is on here today. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in and listened. There's CC Crypto Man. Hold on a sec. Let me let you in. I'm gonna let you jump on here in a second. Give it a sec to kick in. And all right, CCC, you're up. If you want to unmute yourself, you should be good to go.
Oh, okay. Hey, this has been great to chat with you again, Ed, my friend, and Shankar. It's been really nice listening to you this morning. You're another example of how this herd is just. There are just so many mature, level-headed folks here, where we really allow each other to develop relationships and take our time, because as much as human nature, we have to fight, especially in the crypto world. We just have to fight that temptation to want things to happen quickly and moon and win Lambo, that kind of a thing. I know that those of us here in the herd, we just resist that, and we're just building daily, just allowing things to keep developing. We're the ones who, we don't mind the changes because we understand changes are important. Anything good has had to go through different iterations to just keep getting better. If any of us, I know, Ed, you make that example. I thought about it too. Whatever car we're driving, we know that the manufacturers and the engineers have been tweaking on that car for years. And so whatever we're driving, it's a lot better than the one that they put out 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And that's how we feel about elephant money in this community. And so we're all deepening each other's knowledge and how we can utilize what we understand about how decentralized finance is a real game changer, and not just for folks who understand and know investing and know finance, but for folks who are struggling financially. This could change a lot of lives. So I'm just very appreciative of how we just keep developing the friendships. At 5 this morning, I looked up. I didn't see it until I woke up this morning, but it was 5 o'clock my time. Chris Farrell, who does the Flying DeFi videos, had sent me a voice message saying hello. He and I have become friends. I talked about him on the AMA that I did with James Pelton and SK Crypto K, and he wanted to thank me. He was so appreciative that I mentioned him and talked about his videos. And we just keep, I just appreciate that, because that's easy for me. It's something I look forward to, honoring somebody who's doing great work. And that's what we do with each other. We're building each other up. We're teaching each other. And I just think this is the foundation, along with the great innovation and technology of what Bank Teller has done, as to why this community and this ecosystem will continue to thrive.
It'll continue to thrive long after you and I are gone. And you know what? We try to bring new members into the ecosystem and new members of the herd. But I would think, instead of building up our members and building up our wallets, just build a friendship. That's what you should be doing. Build a friendship with the next person you're talking to. And that'll bring them into Elephant Money. But you got to have that friendship first. You can't just try to teach them something and expect somebody to try to, make a decision on a life decision on something. And they don't know you very well. They don't know this very well. Build a friendship first. And that probably can help you build something even bigger to bring them into Elephant Money.
Yeah, absolutely. Life is built on relationships, and great things are built on relationships, and that's just the foundation of what makes things great.
And everybody here should be friends. We should all be friends. We talk, we have fun. We're not just straight crypto. We talk about other things. We are pretty much friends, even though we don't see each other hang out in person. We do get to a little bit with some people, and I hope to meet a lot of you in Nashville. But I plan on shaking everybody's hand. I'm like, listen, I consider you a friend.
Well, absolutely. And, appreciation is just so important for life, who we are as humans, and I like to tell this story that when me and my wife lived in Los Angeles, we immediately, it didn't take very long before we were meeting musicians and actors and lighting people, photographers, costume designers. Just when you're in that kind of a realm, you realize how small the world is, because almost everybody knows each other. And one of the things I came to realize is nobody really actually talked about this, but my wife and I noticed everybody's super friendly and respectful toward each other. I mean, it's not something that you realize if you're outside of that realm and you're on social media, and how people rip on folk. People, there's so much negativity when you look on social media, but when you get inside the scene where people are actually know each other and they're doing the work, nobody speaks badly about anyone. And you realize that is a foundation as to why different industries are healthy and stay strong and stay positive, because we need each other. If you're an artist, or if you're you need your makeup person, you need the person who does your lighting, and you also don't know who's going to help you. And so if you say, hey, I don't, I just think so and so doesn't have any talent, say some famous person, oh, I don't think Taylor Swift has any talent. Well, that's inside the scene, that would be a really foolish thing to say, because you might be saying that to somebody who is just going to hire you to have a job on her tour.
That's right. Watch what
we
you
have
say.
A really good friend. Yeah, we have a really good friend. My wife sang with him. We were music directors at our church, and he was one of the singers, incredible singer. He was one of the Temptations on the NBC miniseries. So we stay in touch a lot. Well, one of his best friends is a backup singer for Taylor Swift, has been for years. You don't know you don't know how close we are with each other. So you do so much better by honoring and uplifting and showing respect, and so I love that the fact I brought that story up in the AMA, because that's what we do here in the herd. We do that with each other. We totally honor, respect, lift each other up. We patiently answer questions on Telegram, help new people out, and it's something I just really, really enjoy and look forward to.
I appreciate your words, man, and that's the perfect way to end this spaces today. Is just just hearing some positive, kind words like that, and especially about the whole community, because that's who we are and that's who we're going to be. And this, I'm so happy I'm in this space. So thank you guys for everybody that tuned in today, who may listen to this later, or maybe a new member that's going to hear this down the road. Appreciate you guys coming on, and next Wednesday we'll do it again. Hopefully BT will jump on, and until then I'll see you guys in the chat room, I guess. So you guys have a good one. I'm going to cut it off before it cuts us off. All right, you guys have a good day, and thank you, CC. Thank you, Shankar. And I'm sorry, Blackberry guy didn't get to chime in, but I'm sure we'll see his nice report on Friday. All right, you guys have a good one, man. I'll see you later.